we go. Okay, close that. Spotlight video. Cool. Okay, I'm just going to put everyone on mute. If there's anything you need, holler at me. Go. Good. Okay, so when you are ready, make your way into a tall, comfortable seated position. And we won't start with music for this first bit. We'll just be seated in silence. So it's up to you if you would like to sit cross-legged, or if you have a block or a pillow, you could sit on it in hero's pose. Gently closing your eyes or soft focus in the ground in front of you. Take a big cleansing breath in through your nose. And then exhale out your mouth. And feel the connection of the ground underneath you. Allow your body to feel whatever it feels. Might be heavy, might be tired, might be light, it might be joyous. Maybe you notice the different sounds in your room. Maybe you notice different scents. Maybe you notice a taste in your mouth. And maybe you notice the air as it comes in through your nose, goes down your throat, into your lungs. Use these few moments here to slow down, check in. What does the air feel like against your nostrils? How far down can you send your breath? Start to notice your spine, connection of your hips, your low back, mid back, space between your shoulder blades, the back of your neck, the back of your head, the crown of your head. Maybe feel a little bit of a lift. Maybe this lift gives you a little more room to breathe through the sides of your body. Three more gentle, soft breaths here on your own. If your eyes are closed, open them up. If you're sitting on a block or something, moving it off to the side. And then when you're ready, starting to play your music. When you're ready, starting in 3, 2, 1. And then making your way into tabletop. So on your hands and knees, walk your hands out a little bit further in front of you. And play around with tucking and untucking your toes. Maybe shifting your weight forward and back. And up to you if you'd like to find cat-cow, a little bit more of that linear movement. Or as always, the freedom to go a little more freestyle, whatever you feel called to do. Five breaths here. Okay, coming back to neutral. Bring your knees wide apart, keep your toes tucked. Plant your left palm a little bit more in towards the front of your mat, center line of the body. Inhale, right arm reaches up. Stay here for your exhale. Find that thoracic twist opening through the midline of your body. Allow that left hip to dip down, stomach to soften, turning and opening through the right hip. And then thread that right arm down and through. Ooh, maybe you plant your right temple, down beside you. And then that left hand can stay down by your face, reach it up towards the top of your mat, or find a half bind. If you want to deepen this twist, maybe you play around with straightening out that right leg and then reaching that left arm up. Left fingertips back down, right knee back towards you. Back through center. And then same thing, this time that right arm goes towards the center, top of your mat. Left arm reaches up. Relax your neck here. And then thread that left arm down and through, finding your twist. Again, maybe straightening out that left leg. Right arm reaching up. Right fingertips back down, left knee down. Bringing yourself back up. Bring your knees wide apart, untuck your toes. It's almost like you're shifting into a child's pose, but then you're rippling up, sending your hips forward, heels up, maybe your gaze goes up. So finding this movement going back and forth with your breath. Three more times. Maybe you want to windshield wiper your knees. Moving nice and slow on this Tuesday afternoon. Taking these 45 minutes just for yourself. And pushing back into your child's pose. And so in your child's pose, soften your breath. I know there's a couple of people who joined us a little bit later, so here is a playlist if you want it. We're on song 3. Walk your hands over towards the right, sinking your left hip back. Maybe you place your left hand on top of your right, maybe you don't. Back through center and over to the left. And back through center, bringing yourself back on up to tabletop. Gather your knees underneath you. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. And depending on your surface, you might want to double up the mat underneath your right knee. So a couple of choices for your low lunge. You could stay here with your hands down. You could bring them onto your front knee. You could reach them up. Totally up to you for what you're feeling like today. My hip flexors are not very happy with me, so I'm going to stay low and prop up. If you're using a prop or other shape that you're in, move it out of your way. Bring your right fingertips far off your mat to the right side. And maybe your left arm reaches up. Allow yourself to meet yourself where you're at. So you could stay here, you could keep your hand on your knee. Or if you have the mobility and openness, maybe you want to bend that right leg. Left hand reaches back and grabs your right foot. And again, it's an option. Doesn't mean you have to find it. If you're grabbing your back foot, release it back down. Fingertips underneath you. Your choice, push back into tabletop for 3 breaths with cat-cow or child's pose or down dog. When it feels right for you, stepping that right foot to the outside of your right hand. And then finding your variation of low lunge. Deep, deep, deep. So we're moving intentionally slow today. So can you be here present with your breath? Maybe you'd like to take a less intense variation so you can really focus on that breath. Lengthen out your exhales so they're longer than your inhales. If you're moving a prop or using a prop, pardon me, push it out of the way. Left fingertips far off your mat to the left side. Right hand on your right knee. Maybe reaching up or grabbing that back foot. Ugh. It's not a race. It's not a competition. Fingertips back down underneath you. Step your right knee back to meet the left. This time, let's all meet in child's pose. Option in child's pose, you could bring your palms to touch. And then bending at the elbows, bring your thumbs to the back of your neck. Maybe opening those elbows out a little bit wider, a little bit more forward. And while you're here in heart stretch, imagine as if I'm gently placing my hands on your low back. Asking your hips to relax, to soften down. Maybe you notice your mid-back softening, getting a little closer to the ground. Release your hands back down to the ground. Ripple yourself on up to tabletop. Bring your left knee in towards the center of your mat and then turn your left foot over towards the edge. That right leg will start to extend out straight. Your choice, you could place your left hand on a block for added height or on the ground, and then reaching that right arm up. Get a nice side stretch to the side of your body. You could push your hips really forward, maybe reaching that right arm back. It might feel nice to make really big circles with that right arm in the air. Changing directions. And then placing that right hand on your right hip. Feel engagement through the left side of your body. Push down through your left hand, rise on up. Slide your right hand down your right leg. Maybe your left arm reaches up and over. Come back up. Left fingertips back down. Right arm reaches up. So you could stay here, or maybe you'd like to open up through that right quad. I like to untuck my left toes first. Draw that right knee in. Grab my ankle, and then open up into sugar cane. Ooh. Keep pushing your hips forward. If you're hyperextending through that left elbow, soft bend. Then releasing that back foot down to the ground. Pivot onto the ball of that right foot. Fingertips come down. And maybe this time, let's all push back into a down dog. Pedal out your heels if you want to. Then right knee comes down towards the center of your mat. Pivot that right foot over towards the right side. Right hand on the ground or a block. Rolling onto the inner arch of that left foot. Left arm reaches up. Maybe you want to reach that left arm open, opening up your chest towards the ceiling. You can make really big circles if you want. And then changing directions. Left hand, left hip. When you dip, I dip, we dip. Just kidding, rise on up. Slide that left hand down your left leg, right arm reaches up. If you notice that you're turning towards that left leg, trying to open your chest up still. Rise back up through center, right fingertips down on the ground or a block. Sugar cane, grabbing that top of your foot, pushing your hips forward. Of course, option for that left foot to stay down, left arm reaching up. If you're grabbing that top foot, releasing it back down, turning over towards the front of your mat. And then your choice, pushing back into down dog, child's pose, tabletop, cat-cow. 4 breaths. Meeting down on our bums. 90-90 shape with your legs. So your left leg, starting out with it at 90 degrees, so your shin is parallel with the top of your mat. Your right leg, sending it behind, and then try and make that shin parallel with the long edge of your mat. Play around with rotating your hips forward and back. Ooh, if you did a lot of biking or running or just sitting, this will probably feel good on your hips, giving a little bit of a massage. And then next time you rotate them forward, keeping them there. A couple of options, you could bring your hands over towards your left thigh, turning your chest towards the left. Staying lifted, or maybe you'd like to bend into your elbows, lowering yourself down. If you want to make it a little bit juicier, you walk your hands over towards the front of your mat, so you're in a variation of pigeon. Option to stay lifted as well. If you want to make it extra fun, that right hand reaches towards the top of your mat, left arm reaches up, and then thread it down and through. Those right fingertips can stay down on the ground, or maybe you want to reach them up and open. Hand comes back down, whichever shape you're in, bringing yourself back on up. Swinging that right leg around front, Left foot inner right thigh, squaring your chest over towards your extended leg. Inhale, arms reach up. And then exhale, gentle fold. Giving yourself room to breathe, so maybe you stay up a little bit higher. Maybe you want to take it to a fullest expression, reaching, grabbing that right foot. And rolling yourself back on up. Left fingertips down behind you. Shifting your hips up, right arm reaches up. Hips lower back down. Maybe reaching for your right foot, left arm reaches up. Flowing with your breath here, finding that openness, opening through your right hip flexor, and then opening through the left side of your oblique. Close your eyes here, feel into the movement. One more time, reaching over towards your right toes, coming back up, and then bending that right knee. Shin is parallel with the short edge of your mat. Left leg behind, 90-90 with your legs. Play around with rotating your hips backwards and forwards. Ooh. Slow down the movement. Notice your left hip. Next time you shift your hips forward, keeping them rolling forward. Hands can go to the outside of that right leg. Top of your mat. You can always stay lifted or folding. And if you take that same variation with a little bit of a twist, you could do it here. One hand reaching forward, other arm reaches up. Yes, right arm reaches up. And then thread it down and through. Bringing yourself back on up. Swinging that left leg around. Right foot, inner left thigh. Squaring your chest off to the left. Inhale, reach your arms up. And exhale, forward fold. Rising up. Right fingertips turn down behind you. Shifting your hips up. Left arm reaches up. Hips come back down. Left hand over towards your left leg. Right arm reaches up, maybe over. Flowing with your breath. Couple more times. And last time over your left leg. Coming back up. Plant both feet down on the ground, hands behind you, windshield wiper your knees side to side. And one more here in seated, crossing that left leg over top of your right thigh. And I'd like for you to take this seated so you can work on opening through the chest at the same time. And then you get to choose the intensity here by walking that heel in closer or further away. And if your foot is as close to my face as mine, I hope you washed your feet today. It might feel nice to sway your hips side to side. Ooh. Good. And then switching sides, crossing the other leg over top. You know you're getting old when it's like the most simplest of shapes. You're like, yes, this is the good shit. It's like when I teach my mom yoga, there's so much noise that goes on. She's like, oh yeah. I'm like, Mom, we haven't even done anything yet. She's like, I know, lying down feels so good. Mariah, just don't tell Mom that. She'll kill me. And then releasing that foot. I'm going to show you this one first so you can have choice in what you would like to do. So the first one, which we've done multiple times, is wind relieving pose, one knee in, other leg out straight. You could also do this lying on your side, drawing that knee in. Or if you have the mobility, you could place a block underneath your hips, kind of bring it onto your sitting bones, a little bit lower, low back where your bum meets, extending one leg out and then drawing that knee in. So you get a downward angle, ooh, really opening through that hip flexor. So you choose which variation you would like to find now. And if you don't have a block, you can also use a pillow, a cushion, rolled up blanket. Maybe wiggle your jaw a bit side to side, asking it to relax. In turn, you might notice your hips softening as well. And then you choose which variation you'd like to find on the other side. Ooh. And then planting both feet down on the ground if you're using a block or a prop, moving it out of the way. Heel toe your feet as wide as your mat. And again, windshield wiper those knees side to side. The knees back through center, drawing them in. Finding your variation of happy baby. I heard someone say this one time, is it happy baby or is it more like grumpy adult? Trying to bring a little bit more of your tailbone down on the ground. Exaggerate the movement, rock really far to one side than the other. We reach your legs up towards the ceiling, hands up towards the ceiling. Roll out your wrists, your ankles. Get your fingers and your toes into it as well. Imagine as if you're riding a bike, pedaling your heels closer and closer down to the ground. And when you're ready, coming into your final resting shape, lying on your back, your side, or your stomach. And you have about 4 minutes here in your Shavasana. So adjusting however you need to make this into a comfortable shape. And starting to deepen your breath. Feeling yourself come back into your body, back onto your mat. Maybe moving your head side to side in whatever shape you're in. Reaching your arms out, take a big stretch. Slowly making your way on up to seated, where we will all meet. Maybe placing one hand on your chest and one on your stomach, holding yourself here. Breathe into the space underneath your fingertips. Being here in this moment and in this breath. When you're ready, one final breath, breathing in and out. Thank you so much, everyone, for moving slow and hopefully finding a little bit more of a connection to your body, breath, spirit. If you have any questions, let me know. My name is Ash, but I feel like I know all of you now, so I feel like we're good. And yeah, have a super, super awesome Tuesday. Drink lots of water, smash the patriarchy, do what you gotta do. And I will see you all on Thursday. Thanks so much, everyone. Take care. Thanks, Esther.